Welcome. It is Wednesday, July 8th. This is the 11th recovery coaching call, if I'm not mistaken. We're on number 11, right, Tori? Excellent. All right. Wonderful. So last week we had Brandy and Rima. I don't see them. Normally I like to check in with last week's participants. So if they pop in, I'll check in with them later. And so we'll just kick it off from go. So we'll start with Dustyn. So Dustyn, tell us how we can help you. Make sure to unmute first though, buddy.
Can you hear me now?
My man.
So I guess what I'm struggling with the most is, so I've been feeling pretty stuck in general, and I guess trying to make peace with the past, and specifically my relationship with my ex-fiance, and trying to move forward from that, I guess.
Okay. Trying to make peace with my past and getting over the breakup with your ex-fiance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when you say making peace with the past, what is it right now that is preventing you from having peace in your life right now?
I guess the fact that I kind of hate myself, and the person I've been.
Anything else?
I mean, that's mostly it, and just the hurt I've caused, a lot of people, and especially my ex-fiance.
The hurt I've caused others. So here's some good news as we start navigating into this department, is that you're taking responsibility for the wreckage of your past. Is that accurate?
I'm trying to.
Okay. All right. And so I've hurt some people in my past. I hate myself because of this, right? And so this is robbing me of my peace. Correct?
Sounds correct.
Okay. So let's see how comfortable you are in explaining some of these items. So sometimes in our heads, when we're processing information alone, we can make mountains out of molehills, or we can feel as though we're the only ones who have done something as bad as we've done. So maybe we can help you process some of these items. Do you feel comfortable telling us what some of these horrible things are that you've done?
Sure. So, a lot of it has to do with getting people, hooked on drugs. And another big one is, so the guy who used to be my best friend, I ended up cheating on his girlfriend with him, on her, behind his back.
Okay. Okay. This, we can stop there. We can work with this. Okay. So we've got two items right here where I went behind my friend's back and hooked up with his girlfriend.
Right.
Okay. And then you got people hooked on drugs. Does that mean that you were a drug dealer? What does that mean? I got people hooked on drugs.
I would introduce people like to meth, and then, keep them hooked on it because that meant that I got mine cheaper, essentially.
Okay. All right. So now what we're going to try and do is we're going to identify the feelings associated with this behavior. So what is the general feeling or feelings that you feel from both of these two events?
Shame,
Mm-hmm. What else?
guilt,
Mm-hmm. What else?
sadness,
Mm. What else?
anger,
What else?
just the feeling that I wish I could go back and do things different.
Okay. I wish I could do things different. So some regret.
Yes.
Okay. So the anger part. For what reason are you angry?
Angry at myself for, not really knowing what I was doing to those people.
Okay. So there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of regret, there's some sadness. And there's this awareness that I'm angry at myself for my actions. So what can I do with this awareness? Because there is a tremendous, I want to applaud you, first of all, Dustyn, for being vulnerable with us, for being completely honest, because this is how we heal. We heal by being honest. We heal by acknowledging the mistakes that we've made, right? Recognizing that some of this emotional distress that I am currently under is this feeling that I'm angry with myself and I wish that I could go back and do things differently.
Yeah.
So this is a good place. This is a good place. When I recognize that I am the problem, it also means that I am the solution. The buck stops here, and I no longer have to blame anyone else. I just have to seek to change. So, based on what you've said here, and based on this understanding that you have about what yourself and your actions, right? If you were to guess, best guess, what could be your next move here?
Forgiving myself.
Well done, brother. So, what is preventing you from forgiving yourself?
That's a good question. I guess I don't really know how. I feel like forgiveness takes love, and I don't feel like I love myself.
Dude, you're killing me. This is so good, right? This is so good, Dustyn. Your level of awareness is through the roof. Like the answers are just flying out of you, right? So this is just it's this is how this, for those of you listening, this is how this works. If you can get to a safe place where someone or a group can hold space for you and ask the right questions, the answers are within, right? Forgiveness is hard. because it requires love. And I don't love myself. And so there's only one question that I have to ask moving forward, which is, I don't know how. How do I do it? How do I learn to love myself? How do I learn to forgive myself? So before I jump into continuing this, because this is fantastic, does anyone want to jump in? I see Cindy like nodding her head. Were you nodding at me, Cindy? No, she's nodding at somebody else. Okay, so before I continue, does anyone else want to jump in here? Because the question is, I don't know how to forgive myself. I don't know how to love myself. Anyone want to chime in with some suggestions? Who has learned to love themselves and forgive themselves in this group?
Angie has her hand raised. So
Good. We got a couple
go
of people.
ahead.
Let me
Yeah.
see here. Okay, Leo, Chris, and Angie. All right. Whoever can unmute themselves first. Leo.
Thank you. I guess I'll start. When I was on, Dustyn, welcome to the clan, man. When I was on my program, I chose my booze and pills over my family and my kids. Okay, I did that. My ex caught my stash 4 times. Said I can't do this anymore. It's either me and the kids or you're drinking. And I said, you take everything. I don't care. That's where I was back then. And so when I was on program, I had to work through that. I had to own that. I had to hate myself for that. I had to let them hate me. I had to let them work through it because I caused that pain. So once you work through that pain, that helps me to stay sober. That helps me from drinking again, because if I do, I'm going to wreck them again, and I'm never going to be able to forgive myself or get forgiveness from them. And I don't value myself enough to do that. So this is shitty pain. And I got no agenda to hurt you, Dustyn. I don't know you. This is shitty pain, but crawl through this, work through this. This is truth, because on the other side of this is what's going to keep you okay. It's what keeps me okay.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you, Leo. All right. Angie or Chris? Unmute yourself. Angie, unmute yourself. There you go. Get closer to the phone somehow.
Okay. I don't have any advice. All I can say is that I absolutely applaud your commitment. And I'm here for you. And this space is for you. And I got chills all over already. So just keep going, and I'm rooting for you, buddy.
Thanks, Angie.
Beautiful. Thank you, Angie. Chris Perez.
Yeah, Dustyn, I don't really have much in terms of, I'm on day 2 right now. And as you know, I think we share another group. And at the end of the day, I have a lot of mistakes that I've made in my past, to the point that it cost me 8 years of my freedom. I got incarcerated when I was 17 years old and did almost 9 years in prison, and hurt my family. But today, like, I just, since I've been coming to these groups, I just made a decision. Like, I made a decision that I'm not going to allow my past to continue to weigh in on my present. And I choose to forgive myself. And I feel empowered by that decision. And that's really what I'm doing personally. And I feel like it's It's been working for me for 2 days. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but for right now, I'm taking it one day at a time, and it's working. And coming to these groups is so inspiring. In the other group where I originally met Omar, and I'm continuing to come to these groups because I find inspiration every time I listen to other people. I see how similar their journey is, and in the end, that's brought me a lot of healing as well, to move past those mistakes. So that's really what I have, and thank you for everyone for letting me share that.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Chris Morton.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, buddy.
I must have missed something. Is July 8th, is it the end of everything? Did the world end today? I don't think so. I think this is just a chapter, a season, and the book has not been finished yet. Oh boy, isn't that a great thing? I remember back when I was feeling really shitty about myself, and the judge had ordered me to go do some work in the out on the streets picking up trash, and I lied and said my back was hurting, so they stuck me in a dog pound taking care of the dogs. And looking back on it now, that really cleaning the crap out of those cages and really did something for me, and started making me feel a little bit better. And a lot of people called me codependent. I didn't care. I was going to let the little old lady go in front of me in traffic, and I was going to do whatever little thing I could to reverse some of that stuff that I had done and make me feel better about myself. There were so many things I could do to help somebody out. Even if I just had a day, I could tell the person struggling how I got that day. And thank God today's not the end. It's just the beginning. It's a new season, and so excited about that. And man, you're on your way. Like Omar said it, you're really in tune with what's going on, and that's a good thing to have. I was really kind of lost there and not knowing, but I just knew that I had to help other people. I had to do other things to make myself feel better. And good to be back at the coaching sessions. See y'all later.
Good to have you back, Chris.
Thanks,
Okay.
Chris.
So, Dustyn, a lot has been said, a lot of feedback. Okay. First of all, tell me how you're feeling.
A little better right this moment than when we started.
Nice. Very good. A little better. Where do you feel a little better in your body?
In my chest,
You know what's in your chest?
my heart.
That's right. That's right. So your heart center has been activated, right? So you can feel what you're feeling right now is the love and the care and the concern from everybody in this call from all over the world. It's a powerful, powerful, energetic field that you're in, and you're feeling better than when you showed up because you're feeling the love, right?
Right.
So you may not know how to love yourself yet, but you know what it feels like, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So now let's go back to what's been said. Was there anything in particular or a few things in particular where you said, yes, this makes sense, or this is helpful?
That forgiveness is a choice.
Anything else?
That was the big one.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go down the list because I like some of this stuff. Okay. And what Leo had mentioned too, and Leo had brought up initially, was this idea of how he hated himself and how he had to allow his family members to hate him. And hate's a strong word, right? So yeah, I try and avoid that, but I understand the point. It's a powerful, very intense moment in Leo's life, and he needed to feel these feelings to evolve. I get that. In other words, until the pain is great enough, many of us do not change our lives. Sometimes we feel like we're getting away with things. And as long as I am getting away with things or riding the current and I'm dodging some bullets and I don't face the consequences yet, I just kind of keep skating and going along until something happens so horrible that I find myself in that space where I hate myself, where you'd mentioned that. Okay? And he also said, crawl through it. And I really resonated with that. Because let's just paint a picture real quick for you, Dustyn. Okay, I have 17 years sober. I've been married for 6 years, been with my wife for 7. I've been coaching for 3 years. Okay, I've been sponsoring guys I sponsored them for over 10 years. Okay. Let's say that I go out tomorrow and do a bunch of cocaine. Okay. End up in a hooker party. All right. So I'm in this Sodom and Gomorrah type lifestyle that I dreamed of when I was younger. Okay. And I recaptivate my youth. Okay. And I decide just for today, I'm going to just take a break and I'm going to go and do a bunch of cocaine, a bunch of alcohol, and a brothel. Okay. What's going to happen to my life after 17 years of sobriety and 3 years of coaching and starting this community? What's going to happen to my life tomorrow?
Nothing good.
Yeah. I'm not going to get a pass. Yeah, I'm not going to get a pass. Not from anybody. Like my whole life is over. And if I want to get back to this life again that I have, it's not going to be overnight. I am going to have to make amends. I am going to have to crawl through this. I am going to have to, make amends and pay the consequences of the decisions that I've made. So my point is this, that I don't know how to forgive myself. I don't know how to love myself. I don't know really what my next step is. Is it more of, I don't know how long this is going to take before I feel better?
It's part of it.
It's part of it, right? It's part of it. So I'm going to have to, Leo, I love you, brother. I love what he says in there, because you're going to have to crawl through this, Dustyn. But the good news is you are not alone. Okay. We're going to teach you how to love yourself. We're going to teach you how to forgive yourself. We're going to give you the tools that you need to do that. But I want to remind you that this is going to take some work, brother. This is going to take some time. This is going to take some patience. And in that time and in that patience is where you're going to learn how to love yourself. Because as I go down the list here, right, and, Angie just was like, here to support you. She said, this is your space. I'm here for you. All right, so you have some people immediately that are here for you. I'm here for you. You reached out to me. You said, Omar, I need help. I said, I got you. Let's do this. Right? So for someone who's completely lost or feels abandoned, right, to be able to reach out is big. So you have a community, you have support. These are the things that I want to remind you of, because that's what we call recovery or sobriety collateral. It's more like recovery capital, which is how many things do I have that I can say, okay, well, I can lean on this. When the going gets tough, I can join one of these meetings. I can reach out to Angie. I can reach out to Omar, right? I can ask for help, right? I don't have to do this alone. Those are tools. Those are resources, right? And so, like what Chris says, he made a choice. That's the one you got this from. He made two choices. One was, I won't allow the past to affect my future. And I chose to forgive myself, which is the thing that resonated with you. Everything is a choice. I can choose to destroy my life right now, or I can choose to take the first steps towards reconstructing my life. How does all that sound?
Sounds good.
So we need some action steps moving forward, my friend. Let's create an action plan for you. What feels right for you as far as action steps?
So I'm in the process of working my fourth step. So I guess finishing that would be one.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
And consequently, the fifth step as well.
Yes. What else?
Somehow try and make a decision to forgive myself and to not keep bringing yesterday into today.
Okay. What else?
Keep reaching out.
Excellent. Okay. So we've got three things, three action items. But I want to remind you of something. That when it comes to love and when it comes to forgiveness, there's two very important elements. There's self-esteem and there's self-worth. So as we start to boost your self-esteem and your self-worth, those feelings that you will receive from doing things that are esteemable, that make you feel worthy, those feelings are going to start to feel loving and forgiving. Because every time I do something that's good for me or for somebody else, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel good. So, is there a way that I can be of service somehow?
That's a good question. That was another one I was going to say is being of service. I don't really know any ways off the top of my head, but I can try and find some.
Okay. Would anyone here qualify what Dustyn's doing right now as being of service? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the hands keep going. Looks like unanimous. When I get vulnerable and I ask for help and I allow others to help me, that's allowing them to be of service. It's helping you and it's helping them. You keep showing up, Dustyn. You keep showing up. How many days you got clean so far?
Well, my clean date was February 24th of 2020.
So you've got February, March, April, May, June, July. You got 5 months?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Huge accomplishment. All right. We have to start. I want you to start a win journal.
A what journal?
It's called a win journal.
Okay.
See, right now, you know what you're doing right now? You've got another journal in your head. Okay. The losing journal. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my friend. I lost this, I lost that. So what we need to do is we need a win journal, which is I've got 5 months sober. I've got 5 months clean. I joined a coaching call today and bared my soul to a bunch of strangers, and I feel better. And they help me and I help them, right? These are wins. All right. Do you still have your job?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still employed. Okay. So we need to start. It's kind of like a gratitude list. Okay. But I like to call it a win journal because sometimes when we're not able to love ourselves and forgive ourselves, we have a tough time feeling the gratitude. So I
Correct.
just exactly. So I want to ease you into that. Okay. Eventually what those wins are going to equal is your gratitude list. Okay. But for right now, it's like, I did it, man. You know, I remember somebody talking about, I can't remember what it was. I think it was a comedian that was a sobriety comedian. He was like, man, I remember the first time I took a solid shit, man. Like I celebrated that, man. I celebrated that. You know what I'm talking about, Chris. I've been there. For those of us that have done lots of cocaine, a normal bowel movement is a fucking celebration. All right. So I need to recognize the wins in my life. And they may seem small to other people, but they're going to be big for you, my friend. This is going to allow you to start building some self-esteem, build some self-worth, show up to these calls, share, right? And keep doing what you're doing. If you're on your 4th step, keep moving forward. Okay. To be of service, all you got to do is show up. Okay. Keep your job, whether you like it or you don't like it. This is part of what Leo talks about here. Crawl through it, right? Like I got to crawl through this year. I just have to make it through this year. And are you trying to get the girlfriend back or the fiance?
Not at this point in time. Anyway, she kind of cut off contact. So.
Okay. I'm going to say good to that. Right. And let's just focus on Dustyn, because Dustyn cannot love his fiance until he learns to love himself. And he's going to have to start really chalking up a lot of wins in the win journal so he can look back and go, wow, that's what happened over the last 6 months? Huh. Damn. Feels pretty good, man. And I haven't harmed anyone, and I haven't gotten anybody to use meth, and I haven't done whatever I haven't cheated on somebody. Like, holy cow. Like, maybe I can forgive myself. Maybe nobody's perfect. I know I'm not. All right, Dustyn, that was a lot. Tell me where you're at right now. Tell me what you're thinking, what you're feeling.
I'm feeling more hopeful than I was. Definitely.
Yes.
I think I'm going to try doing the win journal.
Nice.
It's a good idea. And I'm feeling grateful for you in this call and all you guys who shared. Thank you.
I love it, man. And the gratitude just kind of comes on in, just kind of slides right in, right? It's a wonderful feeling. All right. Who has any questions, comments, suggestions, love for Dustyn? Jump in. Go ahead, Cindy.
Sorry, I couldn't find where my mouse was. To Omar's point, I remember someone telling me very early in sobriety, if you think about what you think your life is going to be like in a year from when you got sober, a year from now, it will be beyond your wildest dreams. Like, you can't imagine the amazing things that will happen to you in sobriety. It's just beyond words. And I empathize, like I totally empathize with just not being able to forgive yourself. And it will come to you. And sometimes the forgiveness of yourself will come from someone else. So I'll share this quickly. I had a really hard time forgiving myself because I was not kind to my husband and to a lot of other people when I was drinking. And my daughter was about 5 when I thought I was going to have to start taking her to some meetings. And I told her that I was an alcoholic. I wanted her to understand it before I took her with me. And I explained to her what an alcoholic was. And I basically said, it's an allergy. And she's like, well, what happens? And I was like, I make bad decisions and I'm mean, right? And so she said, well, Mommy, God must forgive you, because if God knows that you have an allergy, then why would he be mad? So my point is, be open to where it comes from, right? I kept trying to figure out what I had to do to forgive myself, and my higher power spoke to me through a 5-year-old and gave me forgiveness that I've never let go of. So you'll get there, and it'll come in the most magical, amazing way that you can't imagine. And it's not a, if I do this and this and this and this, I will forgive myself. It's just like, just do the work and somehow it'll come to you, and it'll be wonderful and you'll feel better. And I know it sucks in the middle of it. God, do I know it does, but it gets better. You're doing the right things.
Thanks, Cindy.
Cindy, that was a magnificent, powerful story. Wow.
He's an amazing kid.
5-year-old dropping the wisdom bombs.
Yeah, I burst into tears. And she's like, what?
Yeah, I almost burst into tears. So good. Anybody else? Ginger?
So Dustyn, thank you very much. I'm kind of dealing with the same thing right now, and just trying to reconcile what I did. And in the past, that guilt would drive me to drink more. So it was kind of like this horrible cycle of like, I'm a shitty person, so I might as well just screw it all up. 7 years ago, I lost my husband of almost 20 years, and not lost him. He left, he didn't die. And he took my 4 kids, and I just wallowed in misery for the 6.5 years after that. What I struggle with now, right, and this might help you, is when somebody tells me something positive now, I'm always, but I did this. And so it negates anything good that anybody sees in me now. So I'm working on trying to take that positive, observation that somebody has and really, and just taking it and not trying to but I was a horrible human being, and I did this to my children and this and that. It's not easy, because I think, once you kind of realize and recognize what you did, it's a horrible feeling. But I have to kind of counter it with the sober me would not do those things. I would not, it's horrifying when you have that clarity, because it goes against kind of your nature and who you are at your core. So I would just encourage you, you've gotten a lot of positive feedback today, just revel in that, enjoy it, and don't try to negate it, because it's totally true. This was so great for me to hear. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ginger. And it really provoked a thought here for me, because, take the judgment out of this statement, please, for any of you that please take the judgment out of the statement. That's all I'm going to say. And what came to me is it's easier to wallow in self-pity than to do the work. Like, how much easier is it to just sit there and go, I can't, I'm just this horrible person. I can't get over all the horrible things that I've done, instead of asking what the important question is, okay, how do I make amends for all the things I've done? What's the next step here? How do I learn to love myself? How do I learn to forgive myself? What are the actions that I need to take next in order to prove to myself and to others that I'm no longer that person? Because there's nothing that I can do about the things that I've done in my past, but I have control over everything I do moving forward. And so the idea of, the hard stuff, it's easy to just give up. The hard part is, what's it going to take to make it right? You ready to do the work, Dustyn?
Yeah.
My man. All right. Rob, you're up.
Dustyn, way to go. It took a lot of guts. Thanks. I was listening to Brene Brown at lunch because I've got nothing better to do than listen to podcasts all day.
And Brene Brown.
And this is my favorite one, even better than Brene's. But they were talking about the self-pity, and the self-pity is a quick way to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the self-pity, people are going to negatively react. And she talks as a researcher of human behavior. If you're in the self-pity mode, people will distance you, and they won't give you the pity. They'll do the opposite. And the root of that is a lack of self-love. So I don't love myself. So I'm going to tell everybody that I meet and will listen to me that woe is me. And then they're going to actively shun me. And then I'm going to prove the fact that I'm unlovable. And then I'm going to go do whatever it is I'm going to do to deal with it. The opposite of that, obviously, as we learn, is is the dang work. You know, keep coming back to the dang work. But to Cindy's point, you'll wake up one day, and I'm getting choked up. Sorry. You'll just wake up, and you'll be happy, and you'll feel loved at the core, and you'll love yourself at the core. But it doesn't happen on its own. It's not like it's some magic that just happens. So it's this dang thing about the work again. It's like, damn it, I don't want to work. But it's kind of this, it doesn't, you can't get the joy and the love and the peace without the work. But then one day you'll wake up and you'll be at peace. So, you know, just stick around, keep doing it, and wait for the miracle. That's what I got.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
Rob.
Billy, you're up. Just find the unmute button, Billy.
I got the unmute button. Thank you, Omar.
You got it, brother. Welcome.
Thank you, Dustyn, for being so honest here with us and sharing your heart out to us, basically, you know. For me, it was good to know what happens with forgiveness, and with forgiveness, what happens, a lot of freedom comes with forgiveness. You know, there's a lot of freedom. And the next thing I ask myself is, would I really hate myself if I did not do the things I did? Would I really not love myself if I would not have done, you know, the things that I did? So then the question would be, am I really hating myself, or am I hating what I did?
Great question.
See, so
Great
what I'm trying to
question.
say is, when I heard you say you're going to do your fourth step, when you do your fourth step, a good fourth step is going to kind of take a twist on some things that you see a certain way now. It's like, do I really resent myself, or am I really resenting what I did?
This is gold.
Do I really resent this person, or am I really resenting the situation that happened between me and that person? So a good fourth step is going to turn things around for you a little bit, and you will see. You will see what's going to happen in your heart. But thank you for sharing your stuff, buddy.
Billy, thank you, man. That is gold. How'd that land, Dustyn?
Yeah, that was. It's a big perspective shift. Yeah.
I am not my behavior. Wow, that's huge. I am not the situation. I am not my behavior. And that is a liberating way of looking at change. That freedom that he talks about is being able to dissociate myself from the behavior and go, I am not going to act that way anymore. I'm going to choose a new behavior. I'm going to choose to forgive myself. I'm going to choose to love myself. And the way I'm going to do that is by doing things that are loving for myself and for others. Once I start doing these things that are loving for myself and others, I will feel loving. And that behavior will evoke new positive feelings. Great stuff, Billy. Love it. I'm keeping that one. I got some new tools in there, my man. All right. Anybody else want to jump in? Go ahead, Tori. Love it.
All right. Hey, Dustyn, first of all, thank you so much for getting vulnerable. I totally relate. And I relate to you in the fact that one of the most guilt-ridden moments of my addiction was my best friend's boyfriend at the time, left her for me, and I allowed it. And we had been friends since second grade. And so that was one thing that really prolonged me getting sober, as I sat in it and I let myself sit in that guilt and that shame, and that cycle of addiction kept going on. And it wasn't until I started showing up for myself and allowing myself to receive feedback from others and help from others that I really could start the cycle and the healing of forgiveness. And it's been, since that happened, it's been over 7 years. And today I'm sitting in her house, and I'm staying at her house for 3 weeks. And, it just shows when you can allow other people to love you and show you what forgiveness looks like, then you can start to internalize it yourself. So I just thank you and for bringing it all back for me. So that's all I have.
Wonderful. Thanks, Tori. All right. So we got 10 minutes. Who would like to share about how this call has either impacted them or a question they have personally about forgiveness or guilt or shame or loving yourself? Olivia.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for jumping in.
This is my first time ever talking with a group, so a little nervous about it.
You are safe here.
Being that this is my first meeting has given me a little bit of hope. I am a second grade teacher. I'm 25 years old, and I am really struggling with alcohol. I was adopted at a very young age, and it was a closed adoption, so I do not know anything about my family or my history, and my whole life I've really struggled with feeling like there's a part of me missing, and that I'm never going to have the opportunity to fill that hole. And so I've really resorted, even since college, I've really just resorted to alcohol, and tonight is the first night that I haven't drank in over a month. So trying, it's really hard.
Well done.
It's like 3 o'clock rolls around every day, and I'm like, all right, time for a drink. And my fiance, we both struggle with alcohol. His brother passed away from being an alcoholic at a young age. And so, he's been really good about trying to support me and saying, like, let's not drink tonight, let's go for a walk instead. But I always cave, and then he caves, and that's caused me a lot of guilt recently. And so I'm really struggling with alcohol, and I have gained a lot of weight because of it. And so I want to get sober.
Wow. Wow, Olivia, thank you so much. I'm glad I asked the question. Thanks for being vulnerable. How can we support you best?
I mean, this morning I met with my counselor, and she was like, it's time that you go to a treatment center. And I said, I don't want to do that yet. And so I think, I said to her, just being able to talk to people that can relate, and especially because I'm young, I'm 25, just giving me some ideas of positive steps, or, things that I can be doing when the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock rolls around, when that's when I'm craving alcohol the most.
So, without it being too painful, is there, the 3 o'clock is a witching hour. It's that trigger.
Yes.
And so there's something that you're drinking about, because there's this idea that I'm adopted, so that's a fact.
It's a I'm not worthy, and especially after I get home from a long day of teaching, I'm like, well, I deserve this because I worked all day with 20 kids, and it's basically me creating this vicious cycle of I deserve this, when in reality I don't, and there's many other things that I could be doing for self-care that my body does deserve.
Let's try and go a little deeper, because there is something that you feel you deserve, and you're substituting that with the alcohol. Yep. So you don't have to address it. What is it you feel in your heart, in your gut, that you deserve that you didn't get?
Love. Yeah. Just feeling abandoned. I had reached out to my biological mom when I was about 10 years old, and received a message from the agency saying, Olivia's mom has her own family and does not want any contact with her. Do not ever reach out again. And I had originally just reached out asking for a picture of my birth mom, and that was it. And so that was a big stab in the heart to me. And I think I've had poor self-esteem. I don't know how to love myself. And I use alcohol as an escape for that.
Tell me about your adopted parents.
They are very loving. I'm very close with my mom. However, she does not know that I have a drinking problem, because she's very judgmental. She doesn't drink. And so I don't feel like I can connect with her on that. But other than that, they're very loving, supportive family, a great family.
So you did receive love.
But it feels like it's not enough.
It feels like it's not enough. So there is this gap.
Yep.
There is this gap. And is the gap, I'm coming up with a thought, okay? Is the gap, does this phrase sound familiar? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't understand means there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, lots of unknowns.
So why?
Yes.
Why wasn't I enough? Why was I abandoned? Why didn't they love me?
Yep, that's literally every question I've asked my whole life.
Okay, what's wrong with me? Okay.
Why?
All right. If life doesn't happen to us, if life actually happens for us, and you were to guess, for what reason do you think you got the parents that you got and not the birth parents that you feel you deserve?
I think because I was adopted from Lithuania and I'm currently living in Vermont. And I think, the times back then, if you by law had a child at 18 or younger, you didn't get any help raising your child. And so I think, I was blessed with the family that I'm with because they could provide for me. And I think my biological parents would not have been able to provide for me. I think life would have been a lot tougher. So yeah, I guess that's my answer.
Okay, so based on what you just said there, could it be that your biological mother, it's not that she didn't love you, it's that she couldn't care for you?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just have always had this image in my head of her passing me off to the
Mm-hmm.
nurses and just thinking, like, if that were me, I don't know how you could ever pass off a baby and know that you're never going to see them again. And I do know it was probably because she couldn't take care of me, and I'm grateful for my parents, but I have been so angry about it for all 25 years of my life.
So I want you to, for just a moment, just close your eyes. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Put your hand on your heart. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. And I want you to try and take all the love that you've received from your parents, the parents that adopted you. And I want you to visualize you being born. And I want you to visualize your mom handing you over to the nurses. And I want you to, based on what you just said, try and see what her expression looks like.
Tears.
Tears. What do you think she's feeling?
Sadness and maybe a little bit of betrayal. Anger.
Mm-hmm.
Guilt.
Mm-hmm.
For having a child for the age that she was. She was 17. Yeah.
Do you think that what she really wanted to do was give you away?
No.
At some point, the healing begins when I can take this journey, Olivia. This is a journey. This is a journey. Your mother's on a journey. Your adopted parents are on a journey. You're on a journey. And life happens for us for a lot of different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that this journey that you're on and that journey that she's in, right, there's a big purpose for it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big purpose for it. So I want to challenge you to try and recreate the story that you have created in your mind. Because I watched you do it right in front of me. I watched you start. And I watched you have some empathy and some compassion
Mm-hmm.
and some understanding for your birth mom, a 17-year-old girl in Lithuania that I have no idea what the socioeconomic, the religious, the political circumstances at that time, right? What she was facing with. And I can't imagine that she was happy about any of it.
Yeah.
Cannot imagine that one of her emotions would have been joy and happiness.
Yeah, you're right.
But everything you just described, I believe guilt and shame and sadness and anger and regret that she's probably still coping with. She could be drinking over this.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's always made me wonder, like, does alcoholism run in my family? Then that's why I am where I am today.
As we start to change the story, then what happens is it changes our thoughts, our feelings, our behavior, and our actions.
Mhm.
So I want you to promise me that you're going to come back next Wednesday.
I will.
Good, because I want to dive into this like hardcore.
Sounds good.
All right, because we're at the top of the hour, but I want you to know how much I love you
Thank you.
and how much I see you. I feel you. Okay, and I want you to know that you are seen.
Thanks so much. And thanks everyone for the support here.
We are here for you. Okay, before, I'm not shutting it down yet. I just want to like pour as much love into Olivia as possible. Who would like to share? And I will call on people if I have to. So let's pour into Olivia. Go ahead, Cynthia.
I want to say, like, I feel for you. I don't personally understand it, and I would never pretend to understand it. It's something I have watched my husband struggle with because he's adopted. And what I will say is sometimes answers come when you stop looking for them. So, and this may not happen to you, but you know, he searched for a lot of answers back in early 90s and was completely shut down. Like they said, absolutely not, you'll never find anything out, blah, 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 blah. And then on a lark about 10 years ago, we were like, well, let's just try again. And then he found out the name of his mother, which was something he had never been able to get for 20 years. Wow. And last year they exchanged letters, and that's as far as it went, and that's as far as it's going to go, but it was an answer for him. And so that may never happen for you, but what I want to say is it's not always as open and shut as we think it is, right? It's not like I went for an answer, I didn't get an answer, and that's it, that's the end of it. And I don't say that in a way to make you like hang on to hope. Sometimes we get them when we least expect them, and they may come in different ways. They may come with real information, and they may come with the way that Omar like walks you through stuff. You may get answers that are different than the ones you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, I already feel a little more at peace with it, and I just want to become at peace with the fact that, yes, I may never find out that information, and that's like my biggest goal, but thanks for sharing that.
Love it. Thank you, Cindy.
Tons of shit going on in my life that
dude, but that's what we need. We need to be able to, you know, we need to resonate with other people, right? We need to identify. That's the word. We need to be able to identify with others and go, wait, I'm not alone here.
Yeah.
I am not alone here. You know, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, Olivia. Okay, I want you to connect with me in
Chris has his hand up, FYI.
Oh, Chris, go.
Oh, I thought you were just ignoring me, Omar.
No, sir. That's why I have Tori here, man. She keeps me straight.
Hey, Olivia, what a sweet, beautiful girl you are. I mean, you know, I just wanted to tell you that, and that there's these crazy people in this thing called Sobriety Engine, and they meet regularly through this
platform.
Yes, platform. And you know, my parents abandoned me too, but they live right over here, and I've been trying to deal with that for a long time too. But I can definitely feel you, and you're just, you know, you're such a sweet girl that I know that you came from some good people, you know, and just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Ben just wrote, sending lots of love to you, Olivia, and also to Dustyn. Hope to see you guys next week. And that's how this works, man. We will love you until you learn to love yourself.
I need it.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. Okay, so connect with me in the Sobriety Engine. I'm in there, so just add me as a friend, right? I've got free, you know, there's tons of meetings in Sobriety Engine. There's meetings in my community. So let's connect you with as many meetings as possible. Right? So you are safe always, daily. Everyone, big applause for everyone here. Big applause. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here. And we will see you next week on the Recovery Coaching Calls. Love you all.
Thank you.